Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Chats with Children. I hope you're safe and well. Today, I'm delighted to be catching up with my good friend Adam Andersen, who is the Executive VP for Pharma at Informa Markets. And Adam and I actually last caught up over Zoom actually about a year ago.
I believe
So
so.
this is
Yeah.
actually our annual catch up to find out what's happening in the world of Informa Markets and CPHI, and also look at some of the trends that are going on within the sector. And also, we will be previewing CPHI Milan, which is only 3 weeks away, roughly, I think,
Yes. Yes.
and looking at the brand new CPHI Middle East, which is going to be in December. So first of all, Adam, it's lovely to see you, despite you ruining the surprise me watching the Dolphins versus the Buffaloes, which I'd recorded. But it's lovely to see you anyway. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Great to see you as well, Rizwan.
Well, it's lovely to see. I mean, normally I do see you throughout the year. I mean, I saw you at obviously CPHI, North American Philly, but we never really get a chance to talk because you're always so busy. So it's great to finally sit down with you properly and catch up and see what's been happening at Informal Markets. Now, first thing I'm going to ask you though, as we are starting the interview, is that for people not familiar with Informal Markets, so would you mind just giving me a top line overview of who Informal Markets are and also your portfolio of events?
Yes, happy to. Well, it's great to see you as always, and very nice to have this time to catch up. We all and whenever we're at a show, it's always like quickly crossing
Exactly.
quick recording on the show floor. So it's great to have this time. And yeah, sorry about the Dolphins last night, but
But, yeah, if I did.
hopefully better prospects after this.
Yeah, well,
So. Informa Markets, Informa PLC, with all of our different divisions, we focused on serving the specialists in their different markets and industries. And so Informa Markets really focus on bringing those specialist markets to life in terms of our live events and engaging in-person experiences and digital products that help inform people, connect them, and engage with their industries and their specialist markets that they're part of. And those industries cover everything from food, aviation, cosmetics, packaging, construction, jewelry, fashion. It goes on and on and on. And so there's so much more that we're doing. I think it's growing. And for our portfolio, I lead the pharmaceutical portfolio, which covers broadly pharmaceutical manufacturing and includes the biggest brand is CPHI, which is known around the world for its 10 different events. And then also CPHI Europe, which is our second, but also very well-known and regarded brand that takes place in Paris every year.
Right. And in terms of the portfolio, again, I'm sure everybody's familiar with CPHI Worldwide, or now as you're branding it by the city, so
Yes.
CPHI Milan this year. But for people not familiar, I know you've expanded the portfolio in terms of the number of regions that you're covering. What regions, what other cities or countries do you cover with the CPHI brand?
So in my mind, I always think like going west to east. We start in North America. We have CPHI North America, which currently is in Philadelphia. And then we have in Europe, we have CPHI Europe, which is Milan this year, Pharma Europe, which takes place in January every year in Paris. This year, we are launching CPHI Middle East, which is a new launch for us in Riyadh. We're very excited about that. We have CPHI and PMEC India. PMEC is our packaging machinery brand, which we've launched in Asia, so we've kept it there as a legacy brand that still has a lot of affinity. And then we have CPHI China, of course, in Shanghai every year. We just launched this week, had a secondary CPHI China in Shenzhen. We've been exploring the Greater Bay Area with launching Guangzhou last year. So this was a new addition we had. Then we have CPHI China, CPHI Southeast Asia in Bangkok that's moving to Indonesia next year or Malaysia next year, and then CPHI in Korea. So we span the globe and looking to expand to more options in the near future.
Yeah, well remembered, I have to say as well, given that portfolio. Now, from your perspective, I mean, you mentioned a couple of the new launches, and obviously you've got a new launch coming up in December. But in the last 12 months, apart from the new events that you've launched, how has the portfolio developed, and what sort of developments have you created in the past 12 months across the portfolio?
Well, I think we continue to build off of 2023 was that first year post-pandemic of that we were able to successfully hold all of our shows, including our CPHI and PMEC China event. And so that was great success. So this year was building off that success and really continue to offer more, bring back all the offerings that people want, but more. I think one of our biggest focuses after COVID was how do we come back better and more connect to the market, better content offerings, and improve customer experience. And our event in Barcelona last year, we decided to really create that as the new standard for CPHI, really elevating that experience through amazing customer experiences that are interesting and engaging from a industry perspective, but also fun just from a human perspective. We had a game zone, people could do chess and pool and foosball and those kind of things, but also we had a donut wall and just fun thing because
I missed a donut wall. How did I miss
there was a CPHI donut wall. It was amazing.
that?
But those are fun things because people are human. I think in a hybrid world, people are looking to live events to create more meaningful experiences. And there's also a lot of companies that bring all their staff together at our events, and so we noticed that as an opportunity to really create these even more engaging experiences. We've really been expanding our content expertise and expanding our offerings, better, more trend reports this year, more webinars, really focusing on what the market wants and more engaging interviews, and then our industry outreach, and really whether it's around sustainability or key issues in the industry, like trying to understand whether it's the Biosecure Act in the US or our sustainability measures, how do we become more embedded in the industry as we are really the forum and this place that really helps grow it.
Well, that is a beautiful segue to my next question. It's almost like we planned this, Adam, because as obviously an organization, someone who's responsible for portfolio with some of the biggest events, if not the largest events within pharma across the globe, and you touched on a little bit in your previous answer, but what are some of the key trends that you've seen develop across the pharma sector, and how are you helping to highlight those trends across your portfolio?
Well, I think if whether I was in pharma or any industry, I think the first words out of anybody's mouth would be AI, artificial intelligence. What is that doing in the industry? How is it influencing everything? And what are we doing about it? We have a manufacturing 5.0 content theater on our show floor this year in Milan, really focused on that, highlighting some new players that are focused on using AI in drug discovery, and the models they're producing out of that, and the speed to market that's allowing them to move faster, move to phase 2, phase 3, moving into clinical trials faster, but also using things like robotics and optimizing their manufacturing. So that's a big focus here because we know it's a big focus for the industry. And so we want to address that and be on the leading edge. And we're not the only ones doing that, of course. And lots of events are doing this, but this is from our perspective and how we see it, from the traditional small molecule industry, but also of course, for the burgeoning biologics industry. Sustainability is still a big topic, of course, across the industry. It's not something that's sort of just gone away. So we are launching a sustainability collective this year to really get ahead of that and really get the best industry engaged in telling us what they want to see out of our from CPHI and a leadership perspective, and how we can drive sustainability forward, working with existing CPHI sustainability partners like PSCI, Alliance to Zero, all the great work that they're doing, but making sure that there's a bigger amplification through all of our channels that we can help with that.
Right, and you talked about sustainability. I know when I spoke to some of the colleagues last year about CPHI, and we talked about sustainability specifically, they talked about how maybe getting stand builders involved to make more sustainable stands. So how has that developed in the past 12 months from that initial idea? Have you got any further with that in terms of incorporating that part of the show?
Yes. So we Informa Markets is such a large organizer in the world. We partner with other organizers and competitors in many sectors to work together because we're in this together in terms of the events industry. And so one of our initiatives called Better Stands, and that's about improving reducing the amount of disposable stands at shows. And it's different by region, and that's something we always have to take into account. And in some regions those stands might be reused for houses or other things. So we acknowledge that as part of our supply chain and cycle. And but particularly in Europe, we're trying to focus on CPHI Milan this year, really reducing the amount of stands that are built from scratch that built out of wood and painted. And there's been some great examples of leading leading exhibitors last year who we are highlighting again this year in terms of leading the way in terms of how they produce their stand, whether it's from corrugated cardboard, something that's recycled or can be transported to the next event, and really encouraging and incentivizing our exhibitors to reuse their stands year after year or show to show.
Right. Again, a lovely segue to my next question, which is CPHI Milan. You've touched on a few things. So it is only 3 weeks away. What can people expect from this year's edition, and how will it differ from CPHI Barcelona? And what's new at this year's show?
Well, I think what's new and most headline worthy is this is the 35th edition of CPHI worldwide, or now CPHI Milan. And so it's really, really exciting. So we are very much leaning into that with a CPHI celebration. We've had the CPHI Awards for over 20 editions, and those have always been well regarded, well attended, and changed the format of that the last couple of years to be more of a celebration because people wanted less of a formal environment. And this is
Yeah,
more of
yeah,
a
sure.
bigger celebration to acknowledge innovation, champions and pioneers in the industry, but also new and upcoming startups and innovators and sustainable participants and innovators in the industry. So that's going to be a big part of it on the closing of day one. We have the launch of the Sustainability Collective, as mentioned, new customer experience activations and experiential focus. The theaters, as mentioned, last year we had launched a Pharma Heroes campaign at CPHI Barcelona, highlighting heroes in the industry going back, 50, 100 years, and people who have really made an impact in the pharmaceutical industry. Now we've evolved that into our Pharma Champions program and campaign, really highlighting more recent innovations, whether it's mRNA technology that allowed us to overcome COVID or manage it, and other innovations more recent in the last 10, 20 years. So that will be more current, really exciting to launch that this year. We have a mentorship program that was thought up and created by one member of our marketing team. So we're really proud to launch that this year, really helping connect the industry. We want to make sure that at this big gathering and nexus of the industry, that we're able to connect people who have been in the industry a long time and helping reach out to younger industry peers and helping them, whether it's career advice, how to navigate challenges in bringing a product or a proposal or project to market, and of course, without being overly competitive, others, creating that forum and really allowing that career advancement overall, and how there's so many successful people in this industry who are so talented and so intelligent. How can they help bring a new generation along, and also really help them understand how exciting and how important it is to be part of this exciting, amazing industry that continues to bring advancements for human health.
Oh, that's really interesting. Now, one question I'm going to bring up, and it's a bugbear of mine, and we've talked about this before, is badges. Now, I know that being sustainable, you try and do away with printed badges, but will you be able to get a printed badge at CPHI this year?
You have the option of getting a printed badge if you want to. I mean, more and more people do prefer a badge that's on their phone. It's in our app. It's also enables quick lead retrieval and scanning. And quick downloading of connections afterwards. So you have the option to have it printed, of course, but we encourage people to use the app, and
Right.
many companies also bring their own name tags. That's because they want to be on brand. So we try to offer something for everyone in terms of making sure it's an experience that we can all enjoy.
All right, well, fantastic. Now, let's talk about CPHI Middle East.
Okay.
Brand new show.
Yes.
So my question for you is, why are you launching it in the first place, and what will make it different to other events in the region?
Great question. So we have somewhat of a history with the region. We were in Istanbul previously, going in, and we left there in 2017. There was, tensions in the region, and we moved to Abu Dhabi. That was positive, but didn't turn out to be the best suitable market for us in terms of growth and opportunity and competition. So we took the pandemic to sort of pause, reconsider our market reentry, and as Informa, we've got a new partnership, alliance joint venture to Halif, that we work with Saudi partners in Riyadh, and so producing new events in the region. And so bringing one of Informa's premier brands, CPHI, to the region was a top priority. And we had long identified Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as the fastest and one of the largest growing markets for pharmaceutical manufacturing. both traditional and biologics. And so we're really excited to launch CPHI Middle East there. There's the Vision 2030 for Saudi Arabia that is really all about innovation and bringing new innovation and new medicines to market and bringing new jobs and investment. That's all part of that. So pharmaceuticals and healthcare and technology are a big part of that. So that's why we want to launch there. Also gives us a great opportunity to really be in the forefront of a very young country. Young population allows us to continue to grow things like our startup program, bring in new sectors, but it's a regional hub, and so it really makes it easy to access from across the region. We're looking forward to differentiating. I think the Middle East is very largely a distributor market, but we have so many pharma manufacturers in the region and in Saudi itself that have already signed up for this year. They're very excited to be there. All the top manufacturers will be there from the region, as well as global leaders that see Saudi as a forefront and see opportunity for growth, not just in Saudi, but across the region. So we're really excited to bring it there. But in terms of how it will continue to differentiate, we have a lot of content. There's a lot of regulatory content, how to best do market entry, how do you partner there, how do you be successful in a region that's growing so quickly, and make sure that you're taking into consideration logistics and cold chain and all these other items that are a big part of being successful in a dynamic region.
Right. Brilliant. Well, look, viewers, the link for CPHI Middle East will be above this, as well as a link to all the portfolio, of course, so that you can learn about all the different events that CPHI are doing. Now, looking ahead to 2025, and I know you can't always share everything that you're doing, because some is top secret and you're still developing it, but what can we expect to see from Informa Markets in 2025 from a pharma perspective?
From a pharma perspective, we continue to focus on our customer experience, our commitment to continuing to innovate along with the industry, offering new opportunities and content, new places we can develop and grow into. 2025, our calendar is on the website and largely set. I think, and we're building some new opportunities for future years. But 25 is, I think, continue to build that new success. Staying current with the industry, continuing to serve the industry with great content, great experiences, connecting people. That's a very much big focus for our customer focused. We'll continue to roll out some new digital enhancements for 2025 that will help enable customers and visitors to prepare and be ready for those CPHI and Pharma events and get the most out of them before, during, and after the event. So those are some of the highlights. We'll have more to share very soon.
Fantastic. Now, before I ask my final question, the one question has popped into my head, and which is actually, as an organizer, what do you think what are the biggest challenges for you as an organizer of live events? And what do you think are some of the biggest issues for your clients in terms of making the best out of live events?
We're always, I think live events are really dynamic and always changing, and you have to be aware of all the risks and the opportunities at the same time. I think we always see like how do we remain fluid. So every year we look at our shows, and my philosophy is let's break every show down back to its foundations and then build it back up and build off the strength of our audience, strength of our market and our brand globally. Make sure we're bringing in new experiences, that we're engaging new partners, that we're always set the bar for improvement, constant improvement in every aspect of it. And that's our remit. That's our commitment to the pharma market. And so that means new experiences, enabling customers a smoother journey from registration to the time they're headed home, connecting industry. And I think you're always thinking about what are the challenges our customers are facing, whether it's visas and travel, to how easy can they arrive in a country and then have their stand set up and better customer service experiences. And we were just talking to a venue this morning and highlighting some recent visa challenges with them, and they were bringing more services to us to enable that journey, so we can continue to make our shows really, regardless of whatever is happening in the world, geopolitically or politically, issues around immigration get highlighted, but we want to make sure that our shows continue to be the global forum for the pharma industry and life science industry to come together to continue to create new innovations, to bring new delivery and new innovations for advancing human health.
Right. Well, thank you for that. And that's almost answered my next question, which actually, my final question is, there has been, like you said, since the pandemic, live events are back. Everyone's been adding more and more events to their portfolios. There's been an explosion, and obviously, as someone who goes to events nearly every week and talks to exhibitors as well as delegates, uh, sometimes there's a feeling that there are now too many events
Hmm.
out there. And how do you decide which event you go to? You've got to rationalize both from a visitor point of view, because, like you said, sustainability is a big issue. So people don't or can't now have to think carefully before they board on a plane, because do they need to get on that plane? Do they need to go to that show? And the costs. There's so many, but from a sponsor and exhibitor point of view, there are so many events out there now that everybody's asking for your money. And how can you do them all? You've only got a limited budget and limited resources as well in terms of staff. So, from your perspective, one, what's your view in terms of the events out there? Are there too many? But also, and again, you've sort of answered in your previous answer, but why should people work with you guys and come to your events rather than some other of the big organizers out there?
Great question. Well, I think the pharmaceutical, life sciences, healthcare, digital health now, the spectrum of those industries and the way they cross over, there's so many niches within that and so many unique markets and um, geographically, but also just as different sectors.
Sure.
There's many opportunities to find a unique sector that can be, whether it's 40 people in a hotel meeting about something about peptides, or it's 4,000 meeting on something else, or 40,000 gathering in somewhere else. And that's just the beauty of this sector. So I'm a big believer in live events, and know our competitors and many of them well, and like to engage with them, and because that's how we all get better and continue to advance.
Sure.
I think what we differentiate, I think particularly for CPHI Milan, which we're previewing here, is this is the largest event in the industry. This is where the industry comes together. And so being able to optimize your time together, it's been some years since we've done comprehensive research on this, but for most of our exhibitors and visitors, they're finding they can save 7 or 8 trips by coming to CPHI in Europe. So in Milan this year, they can have less, they can reduce their other travel by coming to Milan. It's most effective. You spend a week with all of your projects and all your partners from across the globe, being able to engage with them, have face-to-face meetings, make that personal connection, find new leads, new partners, new investors, new innovative companies and inspiration. That's what it's all about. And that's what CPHI really tries to do around the world, whether there's geopolitical implications that we talked about or other challenges. We try to create that platform around the world with our different events that you can gather there and be connected with the pharma industry. And certainly at CPHI Milan this year, that is where everyone is there. So that's why you have to be there.
Well, I will certainly be there, all being well, and I'm sure lots of other people will. And actually, I have to say, CPHI Barcelona, I genuinely thought was such a brilliant event. And I suppose my only I said final call, but I always had another one, is have you ever thought of, or would you ever consider expanding the number of days for CPHI? Because sometimes, I mean, every year I think 3 days is not enough, given one, how many people you've got in terms of exhibiting and sponsors, how large the show is, how much content you've got. And yeah, I always think, well, I wish it was another day longer at least, if not the 5 days like some shows are. So have you ever thought of doing that, or would you ever consider doing that?
We absolutely think of these. We think about lots of things all the time,
I'm
and
sure you do. I mean,
uh,
it's a bit of a silly
this
question.
is stuff where I get really excited about. And our team here, many of them, they're so experienced and brilliant, and just saying, like, how do we better serve the market? What other opportunities can we do? Do we need another day? Do we need another show? Do we need a specialized show? And so those are things we're constantly working with our team and doing research on. So we do a lot of that research in Milan. We have focus groups, and we have a customer insights lounge, discovery lounge, encourage people to go there where they can answer questions that are just for this, things we're thinking about, that we want to validate customers' thoughts on it to make sure that when we do launch something or do extend a day or do different things, that it's the industry has given us that validation that they yes, they would be interested in doing that. So I can't give you a yes or no on that, because
I didn't expect you to be honest.
we
So it's
talk
a
about
bit
that a lot. We also bear in mind that that means extra costs, extra hotel nights
sure.
for different, particularly for our exhibitors, who really make the show possible in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, I think we're always looking for new ways to push ourselves and challenge ourselves. That's how we get better, and we do best when we have that customer feedback and validation.
Brilliant. Well, Adam, as always, it's been lovely to see you. I appreciate taking time out of your very busy schedule to talk to me today. So, viewers, if you haven't registered for CPHI Milan, why haven't you? Click on the link above and do that. You'll also see all the rest of the CPHI events and Pharma Pack and when they are and how you can register for those as well. So, all being well, I will see you there. And Adam, I hope you enjoyed this weekend despite you ruining my week by telling me about the Dolphins result. Although you didn't really, because at least I don't waste my time spending 3 hours crying now. But I hope you enjoy rivalry week and the Buffaloes win, because
Thank
that'll be
you.
good for you. And viewers, I hope you have a fantastic weekend whenever you're watching this. And as always, stay well and stay safe. So until next time, take care. Adam, I'll see you soon, hopefully in Milan in person.
See you soon, Rizwan. Thank you.
Thank you, viewers. Bye bye.